Hello guys, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, hello, and if you're a returning subscriber, I love you so much. You are welcome back, sis. So over here we talk about femininity, we talk about womanhood, we talk about just things that affect us as women, and we talk about these things from a biblical point of view, and we have a whole lot of interesting conversations on this channel. So if you're into something like that, I hope you stick around. Make sure you subscribe and join the family. Without further ado, let's go into today's video. So today we're going to be talking about femininity, and we're just basically going to be dissecting the topic and really telling you some hidden truths that you have never heard before about this topic. This is not your conventional femininity discussion. This is something very deep, something that you would be so shocked about. This is something that would open your eyes to what real femininity is. And this is just an interesting conversation that I've been itching to have with you guys for a long time. So what basically is femininity? Femininity is something that was born out of observation, if you ask me. Femininity is something I noticed and I was able to observe from certain women around me even before I came into the online space and even before it became a thing, right? I started hearing about femininity in 2019 till now, and it's just been such an interesting topic that everybody just really wants to talk about it, because if you actually see a really feminine woman in her essence, it's so beautiful to watch. It's so beautiful to behold. It's something that is just so beautiful to see. So a feminine woman just basically makes life look beautiful. Femininity is something I have said that I believe started by observation. It's something that a lot of women got to see from other women, and they started to ask themselves, what makes this women so special? Why are these kind of women so special? They can't actually pinpoint and they can't place their fingers on what essentially makes this woman special, but they for sure know that she is special. She has a beautiful essence about her. She has a light. She has an aura that everybody is just attracted to. People love to be around her. People love to be in her presence. She's so calm. She's so graceful. She's so beautiful. People just can't pinpoint what it is about her that they envy so much. A feminine woman is very kind, but it's so funny that a lot of people feel threatened by her. A lot of women don't like her because she can walk into a room and she would all of a sudden evoke certain emotions in some women that they never thought that they had. They never saw themselves as jealous people. They never saw themselves as insecure people. But all of a sudden, this woman walks into the room and they start to question their own sense of value. This is something that a feminine woman can do. This is the kind of power that she holds because she is so radiant and she is so beautiful. So therefore, people wanted to be like her. They wanted to be her. They wanted to copy her. They wanted her results. They wanted the attention she got from people. They wanted the stares that she got from people. They wanted to be able to walk into a room and just give the same energy. They wanted to walk into the room and produce the same effects. So that is where the whole femininity discussion came up. Women wanted to produce the same results that a feminine woman would produce. Women wanted to look better. They wanted to feel better. They wanted to attract the right kind of man. They wanted to have better quality friends. And essentially, they wanted to reach the peak of fulfillment. So they thought that actually if they were able to learn this woman's tips, if they were able to learn her tricks, if they were able to dress like her, talk like her, walk like her, they would actually produce the same effects as her. We're basically going to be putting into words what people couldn't explain for years. That beautiful, intangible essence that surrounds a feminine woman actually makes her who she is. We're not looking to dress up or wear costumes. We're not looking to change our inner personalities to be something we're not just because we want to be feminine. I understand the role the psychology has to play. I understand the role that physical appearance has to play in being feminine, and I'm not discrediting that. In fact, that is one major aspect of femininity. But I want us to also understand that femininity starts from the roots upward. It doesn't start upward, downwards. A beautiful physical appearance, a very clean look, a confident demeanor is actually a fruit of femininity. It is not the roots of femininity. If you actually want to be a feminine person, you have to start from the roots and go up. Instead of taking the fruits, trying to masquerade as something that you're not, trying to lose yourself in the process and become somebody else. I mean, right now, everybody wants to be a clone. Everybody wants to follow a trend. And that is actually what is killing the society. Your personality, who you are, the kind of things you love makes you you. And that's something that no one else can ever be. And if you take the power of femininity and you were to put it together with who you are and your own individuality, you would actually produce amazing results. So in my quest to actually become a feminine woman and in my quest to exude femininity, I really wanted to know if femininity is a biblical concept or is a social construct. So before I actually implement anything into my life, I actually like to go back to God and ask Him, where is this knowledge coming from? So as I began to search the scripture and as I began to search the Word of God, I came in contact with a lot of verses talking about this exceptional woman, this wonderful woman that is so valuable. She just exudes everything that is good, that is great, and that is wonderful. And the Bible actually refers to her as the virtuous woman. So nowadays, we actually call that woman the feminine woman, the woman that attracts abundance, the woman that is valuable, the woman that everybody wants to be around, everybody wants to be associated with, the woman that is so honorable, so full of confidence, so full of life. The Bible actually refers to her as the virtuous woman. And I actually prefer that term because the meaning of virtuous is full of virtue. Full of virtue, that's so wonderful. I mean, if someone is so full of virtue, that means they have a lot of intricate qualities, a lot of qualities that are so valuable. Virtue is full of power and full of life, full of that wonderful essence. I'm going to be reading from Proverbs chapter 31, right? And I'm going to be reading from the Amplified Version. Usually I like to stick to the King James Version, but the Amplified Version kinds of like open things up for me. It just expatiates on things more and makes me understand some things better. So it says that a capable, intelligent, and virtuous woman, who is he who can find her? That is, she's so valuable. She is far more precious than jewels, and her value is far above rubies or pearls. This is what the Bible says about a virtuous woman. Now, if we were to define virtue from the dictionary, it says behavior showing high moral standards. And if we were to check the synonyms of what this word means, it means dignity, rectitude, morality, righteousness, uprightness, incorruptibility, decency, purity, blamelessness, ethics. And all these things or all these synonyms are used to describe what the word virtue means. So it's just talking about that intangible essence that makes something valuable. When the woman with the issue of blood touched Jesus, he could notice, and he said that he's noticed that virtue has left him. It's so surprising that he used that same word, virtue. So from that research, I started to understand the concept of what it really means to be a feminine and a virtuous woman. A feminine and a virtuous woman is like a treasure box of value and virtue. The first thing I want to tell you is that if you are to tap into virtue, you have to be connected to God and to Jesus, because He is the source of all true virtue. He is the source of everything good. He is the source of everything wonderful. If you are not connected to God or to Jesus, you are not going to be able to tap into this virtue. If you come to God with an open heart, with a loving heart, ready for Him to actually come into your heart and come into your life, you surrender your life to Jesus, and you're ready to go on this journey with God, He would never turn you back. So you need to look into that personally. You need to look into giving your life to Christ if you have not. Now, also from my research, I understood that there were qualities that a feminine woman had that just made her exceptional, made her who she was. The first thing I noticed and I observed about feminine women and women that actually exude femininity and grace and virtue and godly power, I noticed that first of all, they had a purpose. Esther in the Bible had a purpose. She actually knew that she was actually going to be the one to save the Jews. When the time came for her to step into her purpose, she did not shy away. She knew that God called her into authority for that reason. God is a God of order, and He does not condone confusion. I found that in the book of Genesis that God is a God of orderliness, and He would not place me on the earth at this time if He didn't have a purpose for me to fulfill. God is not wicked. He's not a bad God. He wouldn't want me to come out here and waste my time and waste my opportunity to live. He wouldn't want that for me. He would have a specific purpose that I am to fulfill, and it's left for me to go back to Him and ask Him what He wants for me. So a lot of people have tried to fake confidence, and a lot of people have tried to put on personas that make them seem confident. But I got to observe and I got to understand that women who are really confident know what they're doing and know why they're doing what they're doing. They're not here to pass time. They're not trying to just, fill their days. They actually understand why they are here on earth and what purpose they have to fulfill. They understand where God has placed them, and they are content in their own assignments and in their own journey. They do not look at external influences for validation. They know their value. They know their purpose. They know what they are here for. They know their goals. So they are not easily derailed, and they are not easily distracted by what other people are doing. They build confidence from actually being competent in the assignment that God has chosen them to walk in. They actually find purpose and they pursue purpose. And when they walk through their journey and they begin to uncover different phases, and they begin to experience different forms of success and different forms of failures, and they learn from their experiences and they grow, they just tend to be more confident. They actually see the significance of their weakness, and they see the greatness of their strengths. And so if you really want to discover purpose, you actually have to go back to God and sit with Him and let Him love on you. Let Him show you the plans He has for you. Let Him tell you the things He has, promised you, because He has only good plans for you. A feminine woman is like a magnet. She attracts everyone. She is attractive. not just physically, but she just has this attractive aura about her. God has placed a light inside of her, and she's shining. God has put something beautiful inside of her, and she's sharing it to the world. Now, when I talk about, so there's just something about her, and she just tends to attract people like a magnet. People want to be associated with her. I also noticed from observation that this woman also has this spirit of abundance. She has the blessing of God on her. She has the favor of God on her. People see her and give her concession. People see her and give her privileges that she might not be worthy of. People see her and they make sacrifices for her. She's just favored everywhere she goes. She has abundance. This kind of women, when they come into a place, when they come into a household, when they come into an organization, all of a sudden abundance flows into that place. Favor flows into that place. People want to favor them. People want to favor her. She attracts abundance. She is never in lack. You wonder why she lives lavishly. She does not want for anything. She might not be the richest person in the world, but she has everything she needs at every time. This is the spirit that God places on people. This is the blessing. If you read throughout Genesis, you understand that the blessing is something that God bestows on someone. I have experienced what it means to be a beneficiary of the blessing. I understand that when God decides to put the blessing on you, He decides to put His favor on you, He decides to put His glory on you, you cannot be hidden. That is what true femininity is. People cannot dim your light. People cannot hide you. People cannot take away that beautiful essence, that beautiful spirit, that beautiful sense that God has placed on you. The sense of favor, the sense of blessing, the sense of glory. They can take that away from you. You cannot dress up to actually get the results of someone who has the blessing on the person. If you actually look through Genesis, you would understand that Abraham was a man who carried the blessing in a very extraordinary measure. Abraham would go from land to land and he would keep getting favor. He would go from people to people, from place to place. Abraham was not someone who stayed in a place or who had a house. He was someone who was constantly on the move, but he was able to build wealth, which is so funny. Abraham just increased, and anything he did, it just worked out. And that spirit, that blessing that God has placed on him moved from him to Isaac and then to Jacob. Isaac would sow in the land where the Philistines were, where there was famine, and it would be so shocking that all of a sudden crops will begin to grow on Isaac's plot of land, and the Philistines would begin to envy him. And they had to come to Isaac. Imagine a whole nation coming to Isaac and telling him, okay, we're going to leave you alone. We're not going to bother you. You just have to sign an agreement with us that you're not going to bother us because you're so wealthy. You're not going to go to war with us. Imagine a whole nation begging an individual. Now, it got to the point where Jacob would dig a well, and he would go and dig another well. And anytime Jacob dug a well, he would find water. He would find that there was water in the well. And if people pursued him and were like, oh, leave this country, leave this place, Jacob would go to another place, dig another well, and then he would still find water, which was something that was very rare back in those days. When you're reading these stories in the Bible, you need to ask yourself, is this a myth? Is this just a story? These things really happened. And when you decide to trust God, that His word is true, because God is not a man that He should lie. It's there in the Bible in Numbers. I kind of decided to believe the things that were in the Bible, and I told God, I want this kind of blessing. I want to be someone that it doesn't matter where I go, I just carry that sense of favor. I want to carry that glory. I want to carry that presence. I want to carry your presence. I want to carry the presence of God wherever I go. And it's the presence of God that gives you this result. You don't have to contort yourself. You don't have to turn into something that you're not. You don't have to play dress up. You don't have to put on a costume to get results. If you actually do that, it just defeats the whole purpose of why you're an individual, because God has placed a light inside of you that it's different, that is different from everybody else's. You cannot change to be somebody else. Yes, of course, there are laws that govern femininity and laws that govern attraction and abundance and all that, and sometimes you can play around with these laws and get results, but those are not the main things. When you have the spirit of favor, the scent of glory, you have the presence of the Almighty, then I can tell you that you are going to be the ultimate feminine woman. You're going to be someone that people would love to be around, people who look up to, people who don't understand what gives you the results that you have, but they just know that you have great results. They know that you're favored, but they don't know why. And then they start to wonder, why is she so special? What makes her so special? It's the presence of God, guys. That is the secret I want to let you guys know for today's video. Then if you want to actually be the ultimate feminine woman, you have to get into connection with God. You have to come into partnership with God, because God is the true essence of everything good. God is the custodian of everything good, and He's ready to give it to you for free because He created you. He loves you. He wants you to prosper. He wants you to be the best you can be. So you just need to go to Him. You just need to trust Him. You just need to love Him. You just need to obey Him. And everything that you want, everything that you're seeking for, it will be yours. Femininity will be yours. Being a virtuous woman, it will be yours. And all the good things and all the gifts and all the wonderful things that come along with being a virtuous woman. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in my next video.